Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, Lauren, and Danny. Welcome to the Cimorelli podcast.
Hey guys.
I just wanted to have a perch for the intro.
I love Lisa's outfit today.
Yeah,
Okay, let me welcome you before everyone jumps and tries to steal my intro. Welcome back to the
Cimorelli podcast.
This is episode 14. Who Told You is the title because it's a song. It's
about gossip.
I was gonna say it's the title.
No,
It's no.
Who told you?
She's ruining my intro.
Now that we've reached episode 14, I just like to point something out. You could watch this podcast every day for 2 weeks. One episode
that's
a
really
day.
cool.
Wow.
Crazy.
Okay.
You do a lot of things for 2 weeks.
This is a song called Who Told You. It's on our album Sad Girls Club, and it's the 14th song on the freaking album, and it's a great song to uplift you. And let's play it first, and then we'll get into it. So hit it, Janine.
You will rise and carry on. You're not broken, you're not wrong. You are standing, you are strong. And even when you start to fall, you will rise and carry on. You are strong. Don't let them tell you that you're not
Wow.
enough.
That song makes me
I
cry.
love that
Makes
song.
me cry too. Okay, listen, this is a song that I turn on in my bathroom and I cry in the mirror while I look at myself and I'm like, don't let them tell you that you're not enough. And I feel so touched by my own words. Well, I didn't write that word. She wrote
Can
that
I
part.
just point out, Amy's wearing a tattoo choker and I'm very uncomfortable.
You're wearing a blanket that looks like a giant
I
shawl.
can't handle anyone else wearing them. Anyway.
Wow.
Okay. So this song is about, as Lauren, I think Lauren said this, the liars in your life. This is about the lies we tell ourselves and the real truth that needs to be heard over those lies. So it's going to be a deep
Real truth, you're worse than you think.
episode, Danny.
It sounded like you said, the real truth, your worst finger thing.
That's what I said.
Okay, ignore them.
That's
So
what I
let's do
said.
some highs and lows.
Some highs and lows.
Let's get personal and share about our lives.
All right, I will start. My high was that my best friend, my only friend, her name's Julia, and we watch all of these podcasts together. So shout out to you, Julia. We went. Okay, so my brother had an Airbnb, just for some reason 30 minutes away, not even a big deal, because he wanted to get away for the weekend. I don't even know, and so it's just a house, and so he's like, oh, you should come hang out. So I was like, okay. So I went with Julia to this Airbnb, and we were sitting there while he wasn't there, while Lauren and him were hanging out. Alex. While Lauren and Alex were going ice skating, we were just sitting there hanging out. So we literally sat in one of the bedrooms in the Airbnb for almost 2 hours just watching our videos, which is what we always do.
Oh my.
And it was just a great bonding moment. It was a great night. We got some pizza. They ended up coming back to the house after they ice skated, and we had some ice cream.
I want to go.
And it was just a really good night. And yeah, it was good. My low was right now because I had snacks today. Oh, no. And snacks are Satan's favorite food. Okay?
What?
Snacks are terrible.
That's a very broad
Not to
statement,
mention, I had
Din-Din.
snacks and then I had a cookie, which I loved. The cookie, it was amazing. But
You
now
mean
my stomach
unhealthy
hurts.
snacks? Is that what you mean?
No, any snacks.
No,
So you
Empty
eat
calories.
celery.
What?
What?
Is keep,
Not
okay,
all
that's not a
snacks.
snack.
Yes, it is.
No.
it is.
Okay, that wasn't.
A snack is food that's not a meal.
I mean stuff that was intended to be
Like in a
only a
package.
snack.
Almonds?
Like a snack food, like a packaged
Almonds.
snack.
Okay,
no one thinks
you don't
of
like
that.
processed food. That's what you're trying to
Like
say.
the whole snack aisle, you know,
Got it.
Way off.
cookies and crackers and.
I'm pretty
chips
sure if you
and
ate
this,
a
that,
bowl
and
of
the other
fruit,
thing.
you would not be.
That's not a
feeling
snack
that.
though. It's just fruit.
It's not a meal,
No.
so it's a snack.
Guys,
Just let her
You
tell
get what
her
I'm
own
saying.
love.
Okay, maybe
You
we'll
get what
do
I'm
it. Maybe we'll
saying.
do a snack
Own
debate
love.
You get what
another
I'm saying.
time.
I'm
So
talking
that's
about-
cool, low.
Wow.
Processed
Empty
food.
calories. No, not processed foods. Empty calories that come in a bag
Okay.
that you crunch on. Okay.
Cool.
You just
Cool.
crunch and you crunch and you crunch, and then
Crunch.
you want to die and throw up.
Okay, who else has
Who's
some
the
highs
second
and
neediest?
lows?
I can go. My high was bleaching my hair because blondes have more
No.
fun.
No.
That's why my life is
Wrong.
more fun than all of
Every
theirs.
time I've been blonde, I lost my mind.
Okay, well, that's your blonde experience, not mine.
Also, you're not blonde. Sorry.
Yes, I am.
It's
I'm
not blonde.
platinum
It's white.
blonde. It's platinum blonde.
Silver fox. Whatever.
My low was last night. My friend took me to her church, and I was wearing my white Adidas, and I stepped in a mud puddle. But it wasn't like a huge one, but like, you know, I had to clean
That
them
is
off,
rough.
and it was just.
Can I just say I've never cleaned a stain off one of my wet shoes. If I stain my shoes, that's it's God's
gosh.
shoe now.
Okay, next.
Not mine.
Jump in, ladies.
The stain
Jump
is the
in.
captain
Well,
now.
I got a frog in my throat. No, I got a low. Not to upstage all of your lows, but let me just do this low.
Oh.
So,
Dude, you're high first.
this is pretty low. No, I want to go low to high. I like to. I like to. I like to do it
Can
different.
control her,
I like to end
okay?
on a high note. So my low is that I spilled boiling hot tea water on my leg, and I got a 2nd-degree burn. That's rather
And
disgusting.
it looks like
it's giant.
A snake charmer.
It looks like a lightning
cane.
bolt. I am Harry Potter.
I kid you not. She walks around the house in shorts all the time
Yeah, because
lately.
it needs to air
Even
out.
though it's like 30 degrees outside, and every time I see it, I never used to. I'm like,
Yeah, she's like, "Ugh."
like
it's
every
creepy.
time I
Yeah.
see it.
And then my high is that I flew like a bird to California to visit my friend, and it was amazing, and I loved every minute. Great.
Every minute,
Great.
even when
That
you
was
burned
when I
yourself.
was coming
See,
to the
that would've just been
airport.
better
You were still in
reversed.
That was a saga.
Okay.
A saga.
My high was that I cleaned my whole room on Sunday, like really cleaned it, like took the dead spider off the ground.
Oh my
Good.
Because that's why
nightmare.
spiders, I kill them, but it's like I can get myself to kill them, but I can't get myself to like get them out. So sometimes there's a random spider,
Just gotta
but
call me up, okay?
Lauren's room
okay.
is a spider graveyard.
not anymore because I cleaned it, so it's all
Spider
clean.
graveyard.
My low was, I mean, this wasn't really that bad, but last night I started this dance class, right? And it was like all these girls who had known each other for like 40 years. Well, they were like 17, 18, not 40 years. And like, I
40
didn't know
minutes.
anyone. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. And everyone knew each other. And I was just like,
Oh, I did this last year.
and it was so stressful. I think that's why I got sick. But I was like, it was like a fun class, but I was just so like uncomfortable and out of my element. So
I relate.
that wasn't very fun.
Okay, I'll jump in. My high is that I'm nailing my morning routine every day, and it just feels so good. I have so much freaking energy. I get so much done. It's so amazing. My low is that I only have one pair of pants that I really like
Oh my gosh, that's literally my
for
life.
the
Wow.
winter,
Oh no.
and
I have like 10.
I don't know what to do about that
So
because
relatable.
Buy another pair.
I need to wear it a lot.
No.
Buy the same pair like 10 times so you have a lot of options
I don't
of the same
want
pants.
to buy another pair of pants.
Then steal. No, don't steal.
Wow.
Find one.
So that's my dilemma.
That's cool. That's cool.
Tell me if you have advice. Just kidding, I don't care.
Send pants.
Okay, go.
ASAP.
Just kidding, I don't care. You,
Okay.
short one.
I forgot what my low was, but recently, like, you know, a week ago, I went and I went into this weird trance, and I started going through every single item that I own in the world. So, like, I went through everything in my room. I went through all my bookcases. I went through under my bed. And then the next day, I went through my closet, and I threw out 2 trash bags of, like, stuff. And then I went to my
Good.
closet, and I got rid of 2 trash bags worth of clothing. And then I went and I bought myself some bookshelf organizer things from good old Walmart, my really good friend, my dear friend Walmart.
Oh,
Me.
I had actually, like, building the bookcases was a high because it was so much fun. I want to, like, build stuff more, but I don't know what to build.
That's
then,
cool.
yeah, I just literally went through and organized everything, and then I detailed my car, and then I feel like a new man. Which is great.
A
Good
new
one.
man?
that's great.
And the low, I had it
boundaries.
one. I probably cried about something, but I just don't remember.
All right.
That's really interesting.
Just wanted to give a quick disclaimer that I'm wearing a blanket because it's freezing.
wow.
Not that cool.
That's so strange.
But I validate your temperature problems.
Thank you.
Not that you need me to validate them, but
Thank you.
I will
I
nonetheless.
appreciate that.
Okay, so why don't we heat it up with a spicy fan quiz?
All right.
That was such a good transition.
No, I like that.
Our camera dudes are loving my transition. efficient.
I don't think he is.
All right. So,
He doesn't care.
Especially. Okay, fine. I won't call that.
okay. So, anyways, this is perfect for the topic of the episode. Who told you? It is, when do you consider that a relationship is toxic?
Okay, I can
Wait,
start with
say
this
the
one.
question again. I don't know.
When do you consider that a relationship is toxic?
What makes a relationship toxic, basically?
Yeah,
I
so,
feel like
All right.
you look at your life and then you look at this relationship since it's come in, like look at the timeline of before you knew this person or dated this person or whatever it is. And then when you got with them or got to know them or whatever. And then since then, like, how have you changed? How is it impacting you? Like,
Yeah.
are they bringing good things into your life? You know, if you're like having a fight, like with my really good friends, we have arguments or like really bad fights once in a while where we just
Yeah.
disagree, and the fights make it better.
Yeah.
It's like a huge moment of communication. Maybe you blow up at each other or whatever, but you communicate, you talk about it, you both apologize, and it gets better. But I feel like in bad situations, there's just like a lot of fighting, or just like the fights make it worse. It just makes it more clear. Like if you just can't come to an agreement on stuff, it's like, we don't have the same values. We don't have the same priorities. We don't care about the same things. And like, especially when you look at your own state, like if over time being friends with this person or dating this person or having whoever this person is in your life, your bully PE teacher, no, whoever it is that's just if they're just bringing you down and like you are deteriorating interacting with this person, toxic. Toxic.
Okay, I have two things to say.
Oh, okay.
I want to do an
I'll
next.
go after you.
This blanket's great because it makes everything quieter. So
Jenny's she's got some sensory.
I do. All right. So
Things.
two things. The first thing is, how anxious, uncomfortable, nervous, worried, etc. do you feel about
Insecure.
and around insecure
True.
about and around this person? Like when they text you, do you get that feeling in your stomach? Like when they Snapchat you, when you are gonna hang
know
out with
it.
them, do you have a
I know
panic
that
attack
well.
before? Like when you're with them, do you feel nervous? Like, are you overthinking everything
that.
you say? Every time you send something, you're like, when are they going to respond?
That
Oh my
ain't no
gosh.
friend.
And
Did I
it
say
never
the right
goes away.
thing?
Did I say the right thing? Are they going to get mad? Are they going to make me feel bad? Et cetera, et cetera. That's a big, big thing to look at. And then another thing is, it's hard being serious with this blanket on my head, but I'm just going with it. For me, I
spiritual.
have an issue where I love toxic people and I don't know that they're toxic until afterwards. And the only times I know when someone is toxic is when my friends or my sisters tell me that I'm changing because of that person. So if I were you, I would think, has anyone told me that I'm different? Has anyone told me that I'm acting
In like a bad way.
In a
Not
bad
good,
way. In a
a
bad
good
way.
way.
Has anyone told me that I'm acting negatively or more mean to people or more insecure, less confident, anything like that? Has anyone around you noticed a change? Or maybe ask, like, hey, have you noticed, have I been like different lately? Because sometimes you don't even realize. I never realized. So, yeah, think about how they make you feel in general, because a non-toxic person in any, whether it's romantic or just a friendship or anyone, a sibling, they will make you just feel comfortable. Like you don't even think about it. But like, I'm so like serious right now, but like with this blanket, but a toxic person, you feel uncomfortable and all over the place and insecure. So
Yeah.
So this is inspired by Lauren. I'm giving her the cred because she said this like years ago
Photo
for one
creds.
of her speeches in one of our concerts.
Photo
but
creds to Lauren.
Things that this is, I think personally, a toxic person, and what makes it so toxic is like it's good and bad. This friendship, so it's confusing. And I've had these friends, which is why I know this. But like, why did you just take my phone? Oh, okay. Anyways, so now I'm off the train. Oh, what was I saying? Okay, so.
It's good
Oh
and
yeah,
it's bad.
good and bad. Okay, it's good and bad. So I have had several friends in the past that it was like weird because sometimes they were super nice, and I feel like some people are watching this and they'll be like, yes, because it's literally like it happens all the time to people. Sometimes they're super nice. Sometimes they just get in this weird mood, and you're like, oh my gosh, like what did I do wrong? Like they just act like, and you're like, where do you want to go? And they're like, I don't care. And you're like, oh my gosh, like why do they want to kill me? Like so. That, I would say in general, a lot of times toxic people are just people that don't know how to handle their emotions. Like, so they just shut down and they don't have the courtesy to tell you like, hey, sorry, like I'm not really like in the mood right now. Like, I think I just need to be alone, which is like, that's great. That's super healthy. But if they just like shut down and they start acting out on you, and it's just like this, you never know what you're going to get, which is why you feel so nervous and anxious, because you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna get like the Birdie Box every flavor beans, like, you know.
Oh, it's like
What
the
flavor?
Bean Boozled
I know
challenge.
it's gonna be
You're gonna
good
get Bean
or
Boozled.
bad.
Because
It's gonna be
sometimes
popcorn or
You're like,
rotten
is
egg.
this coconut or soap?
Oh, and I have one last thing to share that was helpful. I saw this in a YouTube video. I was actually the boy that I wrote the song Where It All Ended when I was in this flurry of like, should I break things off with him? I was trying to find advice, which is what I always do. I always go on YouTube and Google and search and see what people say. So I searched like, what or when do you know you should break up with someone? And this applies to friends. It said this, there was this one man, he gave this great video and he was so like psychological. And he's like, look, if you're experiencing a negative emotion consistently, and it's not like a negative emotion that's like, oh, that's that's associated with growth, like, like those good negative emotions, I guess, like, I don't know what that would be, but like, you know what I'm
Like
saying?
sometimes you're scared, but then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just scared to get close.
But if you're
and,
like constantly feeling anxious or like, insecure, like what
stressed
Danny was
out
saying,
or mad,
because
you don't know
of that
why.
person,
Why am I mad?
that friendship is
Could
probably
be
not
a sign.
good. So
Just
Yeah.
keep it in mind.
And
Amy?
there's a very basic level of like trust where you're able to like trust somebody to show up, and like some people you can't trust them to show up and be like in a good mood and to be like positive or like nice to be around. So
or
it's
at
like
least honest about
Yeah.
how they're
Yeah.
feeling.
it's this game of like I don't even know what like. It's kind of like Russian roulette, which is really like just like gross. But it's like you have to like when you make plans, you're like, I don't know what's going on. Like, is this gonna be bad? And like I've had friends where like they literally are looking for the bad things that I do and saying things that I do are wrong. And like
criticizing
they'll be
you.
like I'll do something good for them, but then they'll be like, what? And they'll get mad at me for something, and then they won't tell me that they're mad at me, and then I have to be the one to apologize for something that I did not do wrong.
Yeah.
So then it's it's like a very tricky situation, and I think a lot of times it's easier for us to tell like toxicity of a relationship if it's like with a friend or like a family member, but it's a lot harder when it's like there's hormones involved and it's like relationshipy, like romantic or whatever. Like one thing that I thought the other day, I had this like poster that has the Bible quote from like one of the Corinthians, and it's like, love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous or rude. Like the Bible quote read in Catholic weddings all around the world. Well, yeah, but like it's just like you could take that reading and you could measure your relationship with that person around it.
Like,
So
are
you're
they
like,
patient? Are they
are they
kind?
patient? Are they kind? Are they jealous? Are they rude? Are they boastful? Do they do all these things? Like, do they seek their own glory?
Oh, I did that with my ex-boyfriend. I just remembered that.
So
Wow.
that's like a really good standard to measure all of your relationships
That's
with just
good.
people in general around.
So
I
I
can
think
just
the
look at my exes and be
general-
like, they are rude. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Rude, no boundaries.
So I think the general takeaway is that in any relationship, whether it's your friend, your boyfriend, your sister, your cousin, your dog, then they should maybe not
My
your
dog is toxic.
They should make you feel comfortable,
Respected.
like you can be honest around them,
Relax.
and they should make you a better person in general, and you should make them a better person in general.
All right, that was a good answer to that.
I want to quickly
question.
intercede and say that I just picked up my water bottle, drink it, and there is a ladybug on it, and for some reason it really freaked me out. I was like,
Can I have it?
yes, take it away. Looks like a scampy one.
oh, be gentle.
All right, that was good. Thanks for sending us your question, tweeting it to hashtag Cimorelli podcast. Get away from the ladybug.
Don't kill her.
We're gonna do Lauren's take.
Ooh.
She's a little
talkie.
she's a little sick, so you know her voice.
Sorry, Laura.
It's not in its
Probably
full
even
glory.
shorter
dang,
than
I just
yours.
broke
Not
this.
in
I
its
always break the
prime.
things off the pens.
Christina!
I always do that.
I do that too. I bend them too far and
Okay,
they snap.
I didn't mean
All
to bend
right.
it. Okay.
All right, Laura, I'm gonna start light. What do you do in your spare time?
Make plans for my life.
All right.
And then execute those plans. Like, oh, I want to start working out. How do I do that? Okay, let me make a plan. I'll do it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I'm like, what am I supposed to do today? Oh, gotta work out.
Wow, can't
Gotta
relate.
read something. Gotta do this. I just make a lot of plans, really. Love it.
She's planning, she's scheming, she's dreaming. All right. What makes you feel fulfilled?
I think when I am being true to myself and like connecting with people that are true to themselves, where it's just like real, like I'm like being a human instead of like putting all these walls up and like these screens up for everyone.
that's when I feel most fulfilled, I would say.
How do you handle people judging you for being an introvert?
I don't think people judge me for that.
But you have your quota for
can't all be
the life of the
Quiet.
I don't really
Do you,
think
do you have a
people
message
judge
for all the
me.
introverts out there?
I don't think anyone's judging you for being an introvert, personally. I guess, okay, people do, like, they love to crack jokes and be like, wow, you just don't shut up, do you? I'm like, oh, okay. But, like, that's just people trying to think of something to say. Because, I mean, you're not talking. They have to say something. So it's like, I don't think they're really judging you. Just, you know, take it lightly. And just
Maybe they're
live your
trying to
life.
engage you.
Yeah, you're just being you, and then they just don't know what to do. And so they say something weird, but they probably don't even mean to be offensive. So I don't think they're really judging you.
Okay. Any advice on how to get over being quiet? They said quiet, but they mean quiet and shy in order to make new friends.
Oh. That's my nightmare, but that's like my life's work is answering that question for myself. So I'm a pretty analytical person. So my whole life, I'm like analyzing other people when they talk to each other. I'm like, okay, what do people say? Like Lisa would talk to these people, and I'm like, how does she say that? Like, she's like, oh, the weather, or whatever. I'm like, why would you think of that? Why would anyone care about the weather?
genuinely
I don't
interesting.
care. Yeah,
She
exactly.
loves, that's true, Lisa loves the weather.
And I'm like, I don't care about the weather. And I realize, like, people talk about things that they don't really care that much about. Like, when you're first talking to people, like, you don't have to have this, like, perfect topic, because people just talk about dumb stuff. They really don't care that
All the
much. It's
time.
just, like, for the sake of conversation, and then you get to know them better. So, like, you can say something that you don't think is really that interesting just for the sake of conversation, and also think of like what you actually want to know about this person. Like, I don't know why sometimes I get scared to ask someone a genuine question that of something that I'm interested in. I don't know why, but I think everyone like
Wait, like what?
just like, so where are you from? I'm like, oh, I can't say that. I don't know why.
What?
But I think of those things, you know, it's like you want to know about people. So just push through the fear or like the insecurity of like, oh, is this weird or bad or whatever? Because the chances are the other person who you're talking to is like trying to make the convo good too. Like, it's not just you. They're not like, oh, I'm perfect conversationalist. You better be good too. It's like you're both trying to be like, have a conversation. So just don't put too much pressure on it, and just say what you actually think and like what you're interested in.
This is good advice.
All right, we got one more. What qualities do you look for in a best friend?
Oh wow.
You know,
this
best
is a hard question.
friend. Okay.
Intense question.
Well, a best
real
friend is very. Yeah, that's pretty intense for me.
It is.
'cause it takes me a long time to even call someone a friend.
Lauren said like one
Let
and a half
alone a best
friends in
friend.
my life.
But what I look for, is it what I look for?
Lauren meets many, keeps none.
Is okay. The biggest thing for me is like support and honesty. So like people that aren't judging me, because you know I say and do a lot of weird things, and it's really like not that shocking. You know, it's just like me being me, whatever. And some people are like, "Wow, that's weird," and it's like I don't want that. Like, stop judging me. Just let me be weird and just like laugh or whatever. Like, don't just think that it's weird. Well, I guess if you do think it's weird, then we probably shouldn't be friends. But I look for like support and encouragement, and somebody who will. Somebody who will like really like be interested in me, because I'm really interested in other people. So it's like I can't be friends with someone if they are only interested in themselves. Like they need to be really interested in me, because I'm not the type of person that's just gonna be like, oh yeah, this about me, that about me, that about me. Oh yeah, I did this. Like I like answer questions about myself. I don't like to just like brag about myself or whatever, or just like say stuff about myself. It's not even bragging. I just don't like to do that. So somebody that's interested in me and is like, oh, and also someone who is like positive, someone that I can like have a good time with, but also be serious with, who is like on the same page as me in general. So really, I look for a lot of things. There's way more things than that I look for, but those are like the main things I would say. Is that the end?
It's weird how this episode wasn't even friendship based, but I feel like it's been like all about friendship.
Yeah.
I'm just shook that you ever watched me of all people talking and be
Because
like,
it was shocking to me how you could be like, oh, the weather. I was like, what? I would never say that.
shocking. Wow.
It's time for sappy thoughts with Kath now. So
Good thing I have my protective gear.
I have my invisible shawl on.
Okay.
You can see.
No, you didn't put it
suiting
on.
up.
You haven't had it on this whole episode, right?
No, I just pulled it out.
There.
Okay, what's the topic today?
All right, today's topic is spring cleaning your interior life. I really don't know where I come up with these topics. They just pop into my head, and then I'm like, oh yeah, yep, that's the one.
Not even spring, lady.
It's almost spring.
I'll
Okay.
stop
Getting
the
people
interjection.
prepped. Okay,
Jan, we can't even hear you. Not on your
so
mic.
something. Okay, let me just preface this. You know, we get bombarded with all these messages of people. You know, Instagram, you want to have this aesthetic, like you want to have all the great pics. You want to have like this, you know, this look. And your
Yes.
fashion, I get it. You know, it's
Yes.
important. It's good. You want to have, but what about your interior life? This is the thing that no one sees but you. So the thing is, yeah, you can have this awful interior life and maybe a great Instagram, but you're going to slowly die inside. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to clean yourself out. All right. The number one thing I want to share with you is it is so in my opinion, one of the best things you can do. I can see one eye.
I don't
Okay.
like my interior life.
Okay. One of the like number one things I think you can do to live your life the best way ever is to think deep thoughts. Think about like how like the opposite thing is told to you, like in all, like everything. Twitter is all about shortening your thoughts and making them as short as possible. Like you're just constantly scrolling and clicking on these short thoughts that are usually pretty shallow. The way that you can combat that, I'm going to give you some tips right now, because I think thinking deep thoughts is one of the best ways you can spend your time. I'm a poet, so I'm just like a rare bird, like in the way that I see the world,
no.
because I actually wrote this. This is actually a poem I wrote when I was 17. It was something like, being a poet is simply this: seeing the magic in the world and believing that you have to write it down. And I'm just unapologetic about that. I feel like
Good.
this is what has like brought me so much joy in life, is that I have the ability to look at an ordinary situation and see meaning and beauty and like to think about it. And some of my favorite moments in life are when I have like a playlist called Think, and I just like to go on these long walks and just like ponder, like even like just the weirdest things. Like sometimes I'm just like, my mind is so weird. I'm like, what if this happened? I'll just think of this random situation and I'll just play it out for like a really long time. Or I'll think about a relationship or a situation in my life, and then I'll think of like a million different outcomes and like how, like I usually think in a lot of ideals. So that's kind of like my way, is like, okay, what is the ideal relationship? And I think of every facet of it and like, how can I have that? And I'll think about that. Or I'll be like, am I truly living my purpose? And I'll think of every category in my life of how I can get better. So the biggest thing I want to impart to you from my little speech is that thinking deep thoughts will bring you so much joy. Like getting off your phone, maybe just using your phone to have a playlist, but not actually going on it. That's what I do. And then there's a few other things I wanted to say that will add to this, to the effect. Number one, go in nature. Go outside, go on a walk in a beautiful place, and it'll start inspiring some deep thoughts in you. You would be surprised how much happier you will be just simply going outside. It makes you so happy. We're meant to be in nature. We're not supposed to be in these little boxes we've created, homes. I mean, yeah, they're good to hang out in sometimes, but you are meant to be
To sleep
in
in.
nature. Yes. Just go sleep in your box and then get outside. Unless it's like raining, I guess. Get an umbrella. All right. Reading. A book. Oh my gosh, a book. What the heck? Books. That's all I have to say. Books.
Okay, good.
Read. Oh, okay. This is a weird one. You guys are gonna make fun of me. I don't give a rip. Okay. So there's two things that I believe feed not only the body but also the soul, and that you can ingest. One is tea, and one is soup. So have some of those. Just make yourself a bowl of soup and just ponder it. I'm not kidding.
Ponder it.
Your soul.
It will. I'm not even kidding.
Wait.
No.
Ponder the soup.
I'm being dead serious.
Oh, this is
Eating
chicken.
soup will make
Chicken
you
broth.
think about life. Just try it. Try it.
Okay.
See, you probably are on your phone. You're eating soup. That's why
This
you
has
didn't
some
realize it.
rice.
Wait,
You
how
gotta
do
do
you,
it.
but how do you ponder the soup?
Stop thinking about it too much. You have to actually just do it, okay? And then tell me I'm wrong. 'Cause
Clam
I'm not.
chowder. Good
And then
taste.
The last thing I'm gonna say is,
Amy, this is
I
Kath's segment.
heard somewhere that water inspires creativity. So take a bath, or
Yes.
go next to a river. But taking a bath is easier because you probably have a bathtub. You might not have a river. So go in the bath, put on your thinking playlist, and just lay back.
Or
Think
just
about
turn
it all.
on the water in your sink.
Yes.
And just
Very
look at
creative.
it. Look, water inspires
Wait,
creativity, right?
whoa,
That means
whoa,
all
whoa,
water.
whoa. Is
Just
this,
look at
is
your
this
water bottle.
Danny's thoughts? I don't think it is.
I want to paint.
Yeah. Just pour some water on yourself.
No, I'm serious.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
is
that's
that
all I
it?
gotta say.
And we're back by the magic of editing. We just took a really quick break. Lisa grabbed a fidget spinner.
I
Laura
got a
went to the
fidget spinner
bathroom.
and some Oreos.
Took a
In
quick
case you're
pause.
wondering how they appeared there. So that was Sappy Thoughts with Kath. Thank you for sharing. And we're
Also,
going to do...
I like to say, sorry, I really appreciate all the positive feedback I've gotten on my sappy
All the
thoughts.
sappy
Glad
thoughts.
to know that there's some fellow saps out there.
Some future
saps
saps.
Love you guys. And some future
Okay.
saps, because I'm going to convert.
It's story time. So we're going to head over to
Amy's
Amy
Corner.
Land.
Oh.
I'm like really nervous.
And
right
I'll
now.
tell you. Okay. So listen, we're taking it back to the theme, which is Who Told You song, that's the theme. And this is titled, I titled this as if it was a video. It's called I Hated My Height, Not Clickbait.
Emotional. I actually am
Gone wrong.
on the I don't know why I'm
My
literally
height
about to
gone.
cry.
So
I
tell
don't know
us
why. I'm just
about
so
the
nervous.
time you hated your height.
Well, one time I was born. And
It's about to get emotional.
I am so emotional. I don't know why. I'm literally going to cry. It's okay.
Just say it,
Maybe I
come
won't.
on.
It's like
cried
Amy's
before on the
current
podcast,
crisis live in real time.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is not going to be about just height because that's such a shallow thing. It's more about a general thing. So in my life, height is part of it. So like, I have a big like conformist streak. Basically, all of me is conformist. It's not like a streak; it's a whole painting. So. I grew, like, I was born, whatever, got diagnosed with Turner syndrome when I was 9 after trying to figure out for, like, 4 or 5 years, like, what it was.
Why you weren't growing?
Yeah, I stopped growing when I was 5, I think, or 4, or, like, I just really, really slowed the growth. So, like, for, like, 4 or 5 years, I was just, like, chilling at, like, really small, like, right under 4 feet. So then I got diagnosed, and I started taking growth hormones. And then I grew a foot from when I was 9 till I was like 13, and then I just kind of like stopped growing. So for me, like, I always like wanted to be the same as people, but I was born into a very just a very different place. Like I have like all these siblings, and I was born into a giant, really religious like family that was like very like different, and everything about me was different. I was homeschooled. I did all these things that were very different, and I was really loud, and I hated being really loud because like I wanted to be quiet and mysterious like Lauren. And then like
Don't we all?
exactly. And I just wanted to be the same, and I hated the fact that like I wasn't the same as like the only people that like understood me, like which was like them because they all understood growing up in the same way. But I wasn't the same because I had this like condition that made me different, and I looked different, and I hated being different in general. Like I hated it. I was always trying to find a place to like fit in. But I thought I was trying to belong, but I was really just trying to fit in. But you can't like fit in when you're so different, and and I hated being different. I would always like I thought about this today, and I was like, something like this would be way better for Lisa, who wants to be different than everyone else. Like, it would be way easier for her. She'd be like, I'm 3 feet tall. I'm so different. Yay. I did not like it. I was like, oh my gosh, everyone is I'm like a potted plant, and everyone else like a redwood tree. This is really not good. So then I had to really, really like I had to just be like, look, lady, and like slap myself with the frying pan or whatever, and I had to be like, you're not gonna grow anymore unless you get one of those psycho surgeries that like gives you 3 inches on your legs, which is weird as frick, and you're just short, and that's how it is, and you have this genetic disease. You can't change your X chromosomes. You can't do these things, so you have to realize like you're different, and that's just how it is. And I was literally struggled with this in my entire life until really like this year. Like, well, I guess last year because now it's 2018. But like, I really had so many I had so much like, it was just so hard for me to get my head around the fact that I wasn't going to be like everyone else. And it was so difficult because when you're different in a physical, like, way that people can see, like when you have a big family, when you're really short, people think that they can ask you really offensive questions and it's totally fine. They can be like, oh, you have so many siblings, your poor mom. I'm like, excuse me, which one of us do you not want to exist? Like, you want to tell us? Or they're like, wow, your parents must be bored. Okay, thanks, next. I'm glad I exist.
But
I
you
hope you are.
personally.
And, like, for me, like, they'd be like, why are you so short? And I'd be like, well,
Why are you short?
I'm just, like, really short. And, like, they'd be like, why are you short? And, like, you have
Let
weird
me just
fingers.
tell you about this personal thing in my life that you have no business asking.
I literally would just be like, okay, genetics. It's just people are short, people are tall. Like, it happens. But it was just like people would, like, comment on these things. And then when we got on the internet, people would comment more. And it just, like, I was the kind of person, I still am, that, like, takes... And I really have been trying to, like, shed this side of me, but, like, that takes comments and, like, and puts them as, like, because I was always trying to figure out who I was, what I was. So I would take everything that people said about me and just, like, try it on and be like, okay, I am annoying. Or, like, okay, maybe I'm not annoying. I don't know. Or, like, I am this and I am that. And so I really had to learn, like, okay, like, what people say isn't exactly, like, the truth about you, and it isn't, like, they don't know. Even the people sometimes that know you the best don't actually, like they can say things that you take completely differently, and then you put them as a label, but they're not yours to claim.
So how did you end up embracing your height? Because you used to hate it. I remember you used to act all the time like, I hate being short. And then you changed it. And you
had
a different vibe. And you acted differently after you changed
were owning it.
I honestly don't know. I can't remember the exact moment.
Well, you start having these little phrases of, like, good things come in small packages, or, like, I'm fun size. Like, you had, like, little positive
that.
Yeah, you
spins
made
that
it.
used to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. And, like,
and
it
you started
just,
dressing
yeah.
really cute. Remember you put that yellow outfit on? That was super
Yes,
cute.
that was my power outfit. Thank you.
Maybe power outfit is sunshine yellow.
That's
my power
that's
outfit.
me. Because, like, I found...
Yeah, you stopped trying to dress like someone else.
Learn to be, like, I put on all these things, and then I had to take all the labels off of myself, and I had to, like, figure it all out. So I guess I just one day, like, slapped myself enough times to where I realized, like, okay, this is me, and it's chill.
When you say slap, I feel like people can
Metaphorically.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
Metaphorically,
what exactly does that
slap
mean?
myself with the truth.
Be
Metaphorically.
stern with your thoughts.
Yes.
You're like, whoa, stop being mean to yourself.
Yes.
Not slapping yourself like, you
Yeah.
deserve to be in
Slapping
pain.
myself with my, like, metaphorically. You know?
Okay, that's good. So that's the story of Amy's height chronicles.
Yes.
It really wasn't.
I
Okay.
worked very hard to get
We
here.
got a question of the day with Kath.
Okay. Today's question of the day is, what was your favorite phase of your life?
I would say the phase that I just started a week ago. It's the best.
Honestly, that's what I want to say too.
Describe it.
The phase of being engaged, but it hasn't happened. So what happening? It hasn't. I haven't lived through it for a couple weeks, so I can't say it. That's a cop out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the same answer. Honestly, my favorite phase of my life. Oh wait, just kidding. I lied. My favorite phase of my life was when I was like 6, 7, 8, and my phase was like Britney Spears and like really, really girly stuff. And like all I would do was just sing these really girly
That's your
songs
true
and wear
personality.
so many pink things. and
She
I
had a
was just like,
pink plastic cell phone. She'd be like, hello,
oh my
it's
gosh,
Danny.
that was my life, and it had makeup in it too. Oh my gosh,
And
it
her
was amazing.
favorite song was called That's What Girls Do.
That's what girls do. Yeah, that's my favorite phase. When I was
Your true self?
Pink
Oh,
unicorn.
I know one. Even though my life is like better now, I can still say this is a really good phase. Is that when things started like take off for us, like on YouTube and getting signed with Universal and all the big things that happened and moving to LA that I never thought would happen, and my mind opened up like, whoa, these things are possible. These are like 1 in a million things, and they're happening to us. That was like a crazy time for my mind to open up and be like, see all these possibilities I didn't think before, because suddenly the impossible was literally happening. So I had to come up with a new goal, another impossible goal. So I would say that was incredible for me.
I had a spiritual awakening when I was 17. First of all, I feel like right now might be one of the best phases of my life that I'm heading into, but it hasn't happened yet, so I won't say that. When I was 17, I was heading down a really, like, I don't want to say a dark path, because then everyone starts thinking, like, she was becoming a Satanist or something. Like, it wasn't like that. But, like, I just was getting really, I was, like, obsessing over my appearance, and I just wanted to talk to all these boys that were, like, really dumb guys. Oh, nothing's changed. And then, and, like, I just had, like, several bad habits that I was quickly developing and creating into a lifestyle. And then I had, like, a rude awakening when all my friends got really mad at me at the same time. And I just had to reevaluate everything, and then I like completely turned it around and like faced some big issues of like my body image problems and like some like issues with my relationship with my parents, and like I like never prayed and I started to pray all the time. Like I just like went through all the problems in my life and just thought like, what do I need to do differently to like fix these? And it ended up, it was like May 2011 until October 2011. It was just a great time.
Okay, this is weird because this was like a really bad phase of my life, but I still liked it. It was when I had blue hair.
Oh.
Because I was fueled by rage. Because I was just mad at everyone. And I was like, no one will ever control me again. So I was like really mad. But it was like,
Weren't we on tour?
it was like, it was like starting a new whole chapter of my life where I was like, I'll never be controlled. And I had blue hair and I was just like, yeah. Even though I was like really upset most of the time, like it was just like, it was empowering, you know?
That makes sense.
Okay, I'm a firm believer that, well, for myself, I'd hate when people are like, oh, the good old days. I really think every year of my life is like a better year. I just like enjoy it more and more.
Yeah.
But there was this very specific phase when I was 16 where I went from being this like very numb, people-pleasing, like brainless, emotionless, like just like kind of a robot to like awakening into this like kind of angry, like poetic, emotional, like
Emo.
expressive emo person. So like I feel like I just had like this awakening where I like was writing poetry, I was reading all these books, like, and I was just kind of like, they'll never understand. But it was like, but it was just great, and I like found my music taste. I was just like, I was feeling real cool, and it just
You're
that
like
carried
coming
me.
alive.
Yeah.
Love it.
Is that it?
Did you have one? Oh, okay. Then it's time for Danny's notes to
Oh,
self.
I love this part. I look forward to this.
Really?
I learned.
Wait,
Yeah.
for anyone who happens to be popping in on this podcast without having heard what the notes to self is, I'm sure there's at least one person. I'm talking to you, whoever you are. If you don't know, Danny literally has a list of notes to self in her phone.
do.
She keeps a list of notes to self.
Yeah.
It's for real.
It's just
Yeah.
random stuff, and I've had this for years. Like the first one I wrote was like before we moved here, so that was like over 3 years ago.
all right.
And so it's
Share
just it's just things that are convenient to know. I actually just wrote these because I ran out, basically, because we have had so many podcasts, and some of them are just not that interesting to say on a podcast.
Because you can't have a list of like 30 notes to self. Like these are like your best
Exactly, that's what I'm
ones.
saying. These are like valuable things. So the first thing is
are valuable
don't
things.
wear jeans when you're traveling, whether it's like on an airplane or on a car ride. Like, like if you're gonna drive, like even like a couple hours, you don't want to be stuck in jeans.
I just want to say, when I got the 2nd degree burn mentioned earlier in this episode, I was wearing jeans and I was traveling.
Yeah,
It's a bad omen.
That's why it
yeah,
happened.
bad omen. That's why it happened. So don't do that. And my other thing is don't eat snacks, okay? Because as we talked about earlier, Lauren
She's on a
disputed this.
rampage against
love
I'm
snacks.
not just talking
snacks.
about don't have a snack, okay? Snacks are good because you're not supposed to
Your
have full
outfit's
meals.
cute. Why have you been covering it?
I'm cold.
Cute shirt.
Anyway, I'm not saying don't have small meals throughout the day. I'm saying don't buy like a bag of chips and just eat it. Or like Oreos. Oh my gosh, Oreos are such a trick. You think they're so good and they do taste really good. But then you have
Afterwards,
more
you're
than
like,
one and you want to die. So just do not
But
buy.
you jumped in on the double stuff. Those are more potent.
No.
Yeah,
All
the
Oreos
double
are the
stuff.
same, okay? These are my notes, not yours. So do not just
What if you
expect-
took
you're
half
hungry,
of the cookie off?
No,
You
if
probably
you're
wouldn't wanna
hungry,
die.
if you're hungry, eat something substantial with real calories. Like, okay, nuts are a good snack because it has real calories. Or like fruit, or like I don't know, stuff that's not just
Protein,
empty
hummus.
trash that's just making your stomach hurt. Like, if it's just making your stomach hurt, like if you're gonna eat crap food, eat a crap meal from like a fast food restaurant. Like at least it's gonna fill you up. But like snacks don't fill you up; they just make you want to die.
And then
So,
you eat more.
Don't do that.
Debatable. Okay. That was Danny's
Was that the
notes
last
to self.
notes to self?
Yeah.
Of this first season.
You better get some more, lady.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
I'll have to start a new series because I have many more running lists in my phone.
Oh, good. Another
Cool.
one list. Awesome. All right, who's ready to get real?
I'm ready.
With
Oh, I am ready.
Christina.
That's pretty much
me.
all we do at home.
Get real with
Their
Christina.
life is one big episode
real
of
with
Get Real. with
Pretty
Christina.
much.
Okay, so this is Who Told You is the song. So I kind of want to dig into who told you certain negative things and why you believe in them. So we're just going to go over we're gonna go over a little, what's it called? Not topic, concept. I don't know why I can't remember words. This is like a thing in my life. This is what it's like to be 27. Okay. Here's a little concept for you. Irrelevant facts.
Ooh, my favorite
let me
kind
tell
of
you,
facts.
My good friend Napoleon Hill, he's actually not my friend. He's not living.
not alive.
He's an
dead.
author and inspirational human being.
Inspirational.
Taught me this through his book.
He told me this.
Yes.
Last night.
He told me this.
you.
Irrelevant facts. Okay, so the whole point of this whole song, Who Told You? We're talking about you have all these negative things in your head. Who told you them? That you weren't enough. All this stuff. I want you to question who told you these things and why you're believing them.
Why you
Everyone
listen?
is born with a clean slate, right? So little kids are very much the same. We have the different personality differences, but for the most part, kids are like, they tell you, I'm hungry, I want this, I want that. They say their needs. Every little
cry.
baby cries, okay? Lauren, quiet person. She was as loud as every other baby. She was equal in noise when she was born. Isn't that wild, okay? So we all start out same kind of level, okay? We're all screaming and yelling and all that stuff. And then everyone kind of tells us different things about ourselves, and then we start to shape our view of ourselves, and then generally we'll believe those things for the rest of our lives, especially if someone we really care about, like our parents or our siblings or a best friend or someone we're in love with tells us something. We're going to believe that forever just because we choose to. So I learned this concept of irrelevant facts. Now, it's very, very important because someone could tell you something and it could be a fact. But is it a relevant fact or an irrelevant fact? Okay, let me explain. I can tell you a direct example from my own life. Okay, I want to have a music career. Fact. That's probably not going to happen. You're not in a good town for it. You have no connections. These are many facts. You're not the best singer in the world. You're not the most talented. You're not the most musical. You don't have the most star quality
That's a
of
very
anyone.
hard thing to do.
You don't have enough money.
Okay, fact. Irrelevant. Those are irrelevant facts to me deciding when to pursue it because no one who's telling me these things is a fortune teller who's going to be like, hey, by the way, I know it's not going to work because I'm a fortune teller, okay? So you can tell me a fact. It doesn't have to be relevant to whether or not I'm going to believe it about myself or I'm going to apply it to my own life. If you can get this concept, everything can change for you. As soon as I heard this, I realized, oh my gosh. Because I would always go, but it's a fact. I was so stuck in that. It's a fact, though. It's a fact. I have to believe it. You can believe the fact is true, yes, but you don't have to internalize it and repeat it to yourself, okay? So yes, I believe that is going to be very hard. It's like 1 in a million, those facts. But I didn't repeat those to myself anymore. I didn't internalize them. So I want you to sift through what people have been telling you and ask yourself, okay, maybe some of these are facts. Probably a lot of them aren't even facts and you're believing them. They're literally not true. But the people around you have their own hurts, different things in their lives, reasons, insecurities that they are trying to put you down, so they're going to say things that aren't true. But
And to you, it feels like a fact.
if it is a fact, it doesn't matter because it can be irrelevant to you. Completely irrelevant. You get to choose that. So you can't choose whether something's a fact or not, but you can choose if it's relevant to you.
Yes.
As Lauren was saying, this quote that's something about like you can throw a diamond in the dirt, but it's still a diamond. Something like that, okay? Maybe you're just a diamond in the dirt and you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm just, what's that called? When you have like a dirt, what's it called?
dirt clod?
A dirt clod. You look in the mirror, you're like, I'm just a dirt clod. Okay, wait. Dust
You
it
ain't no
off.
dirt clod.
Dust it off, and then you're going to be like, wait, I'm a diamond.
Yes!
The truth is you actually are a diamond. So you're either seeing that you're a diamond or you think you're like covered in dirt or
Take
you
a quick
just
shower.
have no idea that you're a
Amy's
diamond at all. Jump in that shower, jump in that bathtub,
Shower of
turn
truth.
it on,
Jump in the sink.
turn it on, throw some bubbles in there, light a candle, wash off
I like that.
all the dirt, and let your diamond essence shine. What are my sappy thoughts with Kath?
Yes, you
I
are.
think I'm rubbing off.
Oh, rubbing off the dirt. Oh! All right, that's all I got for today.
Mic drop.
Pen drop.
Okay, so Kath, what's the Cimorelli challenge of the week then?
This one is cut off for the printer, so let me look at yours.
I want to read it.
All right. Well, I was
Oh, never mind.
actually okay. Fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I might have worded it weird.
The Cimorelli challenge is Seek out someone who you know of who is struggling and be the support and encouragement in their life that you wish you had. All right, maybe it's your friend, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your cousin or their dog. Just find them.
Yes.
And if you know they're struggling, then ask them about it and be like, how are you doing? And when you ask it, mean it.
And listen.
And listen and be
Don't give advice,
helpful.
just be there.
If you can't think of anyone, post something positive on Instagram or Twitter.
With
Hashtag Cimorelli Podcast.
and just so you can inspire anyone who sees
Yeah,
it. The main
anyone who
point
sees
is go out and be the opposite.
a light in the world.
In Who Told You, in our song, when it's like, who told you that you weren't enough? Be the opposite and go tell
Yes.
someone they're enough.
Because
You're the anti-bully.
the light is stronger than the darkness, but it can't be stronger if it's not there. So make it there.
Yeah. All
Amen.
right.
Amen.
Michael.
Lisa.
I actually prepared for this one.
Lisa's inspirational ponderings.
This is a real thing because this happened to me recently. I kind of wrote down. I'm just going over my cliff notes. They're not cliff notes because it's not on a book. Okay.
Okay.
I want to say, examine your patterns. This is like real talk, okay? Because I had an experience recently where, I always said like, oh, this guy is so crazy. I can't believe I dated him. And everyone's just like, wow, he's so crazy. Oh, he's crazy. And then I'm just like, oh yeah, like I must be kind of crazy to like him, whatever. And like very, very toxic and crazy, right? But then we hung out recently because obviously I am a little crazy. We hung out recently and I had this wake up where I was like, okay, it's like you already know that it's bad. I already know I need to leave it behind, blah, blah. But it's not just him. You look at your life. If you took out this one thing that's causing you a problem, like I could just be like, oh, I got to cut him off for good. I'm never going to speak to him, blah, blah. I would find another guy that treats me the same way, talks to me the same way, the same kind of situation. So I would cut him off and I would find a new one. It's like, look at your patterns. Is this person really the problem? Of course, they're part of it, but like, are you just going to keep doing the same thing with different people or different things? And are you ever going to change? Because like, it just it feels like crappy, but it feels good to like take some of the responsibility because now I'm like, oh, like it's not, I literally woke up the next day and realized I don't just need to leave him behind. I need to
I need
leave
to leave myself behind.
that entire situation and that entire attraction to that crazy situation behind.
So
And,
Lisa
like,
basically said, I'm starting with the
man in the mirror. Yeah, exactly.
true.
It's like, don't just look in your past and be like, wow, that was so crazy. Like, look to your windshield of like, maybe there's more psychos coming right at me. And do I have a net for them of like, yes, come to me. Oh, and then
my psycho
you
net.
catch the psycho in the net and throw it behind you and you're like, wow, he was so crazy. Oh, here's another one. So anyway, that is
Wow,
my
that was
inspirational
lively.
message.
I love it.
Examine your patterns.
Burn your psycho
and
net.
consider maybe it's time to change.
Throw your net out.
Amazing.
Get rid of that net.
Amen.
A to the men,
All right,
sister.
thank you guys so much for joining us in the
Cimorelli Podcast.
Okay.
Wait.
The Cimorelli Podcast.
What the rip? Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks,
we have
guys.
one more episode of this first season, so make sure you check out that last episode, and
We'll see you next
see
week.
ya.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.
So sad.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Cimorelli podcast. Follow Cimorelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimorelli on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.